and the brain can get sick also. So mental health is about, having a healthy brain.
Hey guys, so I'm here with my mother, Edna Laurent Tellus, therapist, clinical social worker, health coach, life coach, all those things. You can imagine what it was like growing up for me. Yeah, I had a lot of self-reflection I had to do in life, thanks to her. But I wanted to talk to her about mental health and how important it is, especially in the Black community, because it's something that it's being addressed more these days, but it's still on the brink of it, and like a lot of people don't really value it or really understand what mental health actually means. I grew up hearing it my whole life, so I just wanted to, while my mom's visiting, I wanted to have her kind of just pick her brain a little bit and share with you guys a little bit more about mental health, because I believe it's so important. You can't do anything if you don't have your mental health. You can't function properly. It's like literally the basis for everything. So we're going to chat with her today. She's going to share her wisdom. I have some questions. Like, what is mental health? Like, what does that even mean? Because people think like, oh, you're crazy. Like, that's the first thing they think, oh, they're crazy, instead of understanding like what it actually means.
And thank you, my daughter. I appreciate, being here and sharing with your audience. That's a good question to start with, mental health, because there are a lot of misconceptions about what is mental health, because when we talk about mental health, we're talking about mental illness. It's really never about mental health. So that's where a lot of the stigma about mental health came in. Because if you're talking about your physical health, okay, nobody, going to ask, what is physical health? We know what is physical health. It's the absence of being sick physically. It's the same with mental health. If you think about the brain is an organ, just like your liver, just like your kidney, okay? And the brain can get sick also. So mental health is about, having a healthy brain, okay, that is functioning the way it's supposed to function to help you, regulate your emotion, okay, and also make the right decision in your life. So mental health is about the brain being healthy, if I can summarize it that way.
Yeah, that's simple. It's either like mental illness or you're fine. Like, there's no like understanding like we all need maintenance, right, of our brain. Just like you need to work out, you need to take care of your body. Like, you can't just eat donuts and think you're gonna like have a six-pack, right?
You got it. You got it.
Why is it so important, like your mental health?
Okay, so again, okay, if somebody wants to have a physical, like good physical health, for example, we can start with the six-pack, okay? You need to go to the gym, okay, and
like train your body.
Train your body, but you also eat healthy and make all those right decisions, okay, to be able to get that. But guess what? If your brain is not working well, most of the time you cannot really make the right judgment, okay, to be able to get yourself out of the bed, go to the gym, or has this be able to self-regulate and be able to kind of like well, I know this is what I'm supposed to eat, that is good for me, all that. So your brain, really, if you think about it, your brain is in charge of helping you to have the six packs or good physical health and anything else, okay, that you need to have in life. I'm always in school, I'm always learning, and what I found out is that, really in my profession, okay, we do a good job at really looking at symptoms, okay, just like the healthcare system, really looking at what is wrong, and trying to kind of like find treatment, okay. So we diagnose, we find treatment and all that, okay. And, again, especially, psychology has had really a bad reputation in terms of sometimes a lot of people don't get the result, that they expecting. Because what happened, there are a lot of focus on symptoms, but not what is at the root of the issue.
Yeah, like
Okay,
the cause.
the cause of the issue. So I have to say, there have been a lot of progress because of neuroscience. And, again, my field is one of the one of the discipline, that really been really looking at neuroscience and in terms of trauma and what happening to us. So when we look, for example, at somebody who gain a lot of weight or struggling with their weight, it's not so much looking now and saying, what's wrong with that person? Why don't they have the self-discipline? But it's more like, what happened to that person? What happened? And what I really work with when I'm working with my client who's struggling with their weight is really trying to let them unpack and really look at, what are the roots of what is happening to you. Because I can prescribe diet to them. I can tell them, how to eat right, okay, and, what's the right thing to do. But if there's a conversation in the subconscious that said that they're not worth it, okay, you don't deserve to be seen, okay, all those conversations, and those conversations, 99.9% of them are unconscious until you start doing the work and start bringing them up to the surface. So if you don't do that work, even if you have the will, you want to do what you want to do, you're going to have those little saboteurs, it's like, in the back, really sabotaging everything that you are trying to do. And then the double whammy, then you start blaming yourself. There must be something wrong with me, okay? And the cycle continued.
Yeah. Because I read in a book that I'm reading that, like, your subconscious, like, remembers, like, everything you've gone through, everything you seen in life. So there's, like, so many things, like, you don't consciously remember that your brain actually does remember subconsciously. So, like, any one of those things in your life that you went through, or this or that, trauma, things that seem small, like, are still in your brain, and those things could be affecting your actions now. And people don't really realize that because it is subconscious and you're not aware of it. So why do you think mental health is missing, like, in the Black community? I know it needs to be worked on in every community, but it's really not present, like, the most in the Black community. So why do you think that is?
Actually, I'm not going to pretend to know, okay, the answer, but I can tell you what I think, and based on some studies, what, some of the reasons. One is that, we already talk about the stigma. And the stigma with mental health is that really, in the first place, the Black community doesn't have a good relationship, okay, with the health system, okay. We know, from, experience,
Yeah, they don't trust it. The statistics are against us, like, as far as how they treat us.
Exactly.
Things like that.
And we don't really have, a lot of time, okay, not all Black, because they are Black who have access to the best. But a lot of time, a lot of the clients, they don't really have access, to the most qualified people, okay, out there. So the other thing is that, again, mental health in if you think, of mental health in general, how we evolve from, like, institutionalize everyone. So it's like, if you have any kind of symptoms, you are in the hospital, you get, inpatient for a long time. And then to the point where, like, everybody's out, okay? And, people with mental, illness should be probably institutionalized out now, okay? And a lot of them are homeless, okay, because of those issues. So there's not, I feel like, there's there's no trust in the system, and when we said, black community again, because, we have a system that we don't trust in the first place, and then you have a mental health system that is not been working for nobody really, as well, okay, except if you have the means to get, the best care, possible. So it become like, people don't think it's going to work for them. So if you don't think something going to work for you, okay, and it's going to add a stigma to you, okay, it can prevent you probably from getting a job or getting insurance or anything like that. Of course, you're going to be cautious, and you're not going to want, to go and kind of taking the risk when the reward is like almost none.
Yeah. What are some ways we can make mental health less stigmatized, even mental illness? Because nobody judges. I feel like Kanye said this, but like no one judges someone if they're like a paraplegic or like if they have Down syndrome or something, or they have cancer. Like no one judges that person and says, oh my gosh, I can't believe they have that. But like if you are bipolar, schizophrenic, or if you have like a mental illness, there's like so much judgment behind it. So what are ways we can kind of destigmatize mental health and mental illness?
First, it's more like prevention. Treating the brain just like, it's just not just like it is. Treating the brain as an organ and a part of our body. So it's not like, when you get sick, it's more what are those things that we're doing from, like even before a kid is born, okay, to make sure that, the mom get all the nutrition, everything that they need emotionally, okay, and, physically to get, to make sure that, they give birth to a healthy baby. And the other thing, we know how trauma, anything that happened in childhood really affect, a kid. So why wait until the kid is older or not addressing it or not looking at the issue right then and there? Okay, making mental health like a regular, part of health, where you have your wellness, checkup. Why not wellness, mental health? So if treatment is more effective, people come in to see you and they have hope, they get better, then people will want to come and continue coming. Okay, I have that happen all the time. With my clients will come, even if they have seen a lot of people before me, but they're sitting there and they kind of like, if it's different, and people really get hope. Oh yeah, I can get better. They seeing themselves getting better. Okay, and then I don't have to kind of like say, oh, come to therapy. No, they will come.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll send their friend because it's working for them.
Mm-hmm. You think like our brain, we could control our brain? Like you think like it'd be so easy to control our brain because it's our brain,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like such a weird phenomenon. I guess if you think about it, like it's so hard to control your brain. It's so hard to control your thoughts. Like you need to train yourself to be able to have control over your brain. And it's like weird because you're like, well, I can walk, I can control how I walk, how I talk, how I whatever, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a weird concept to think like your brain is like, you don't have total, you have to train yourself to have control over your brain. It's not like a natural thing that comes to us.
Yeah, because
it's like weird to think about it, but it's true. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should make sense, or like that it should be that way, but it is. It's like we have so many thoughts running through our heads all the time. There's just so many things in our subconscious. Like it's like you have to train your brain. It's like it's weird. I don't know.
Absolutely, because again, this is a concept I talk to my client a lot about. Is the concept of the sympathetic nervous system. You have two nervous systems. So you have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is on autopilot. It's autopilot. Okay? When we're talking about, fight, flight, okay, survival, that's your sympathetic nervous system we're talking about. Okay? And then you have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your relaxation response. Okay? So as human beings, the way we evolve is that, let's say, you were in the wild where it was tiger, okay, or lion, or any wild animal chasing you, okay, and you are in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, what happened? Your sympathetic nervous system kick in automatically, okay? It's either you're going to fight, or you're going to flight, or you're going to freeze, okay? And we see that in the animal kingdom, okay? Animals use those techniques. Sometimes it doesn't work for them, sometimes it does.
Yeah,
I mean, but
they have more simpler brain.
simpler brain, and they can, that's how it is. But here's the thing, nature never does anything, okay, that is by accident. So the reason why we cannot control, and a lot of time we said, we don't have control over our brain, is that your sympathetic nervous system, that's where your emotion, okay, all those things, when we're talking about the subconscious, and all those things that happen to us, okay, that's where they are. But also, that is the part of your brain that control your breathing, respiration, your heartbeat, your blood flow, anything that is automatically in your body to help you survive, okay, that's your sympathetic nervous system, autopilot, okay? So if you have control over that, people can just say, oh, I'm going to just shut my nose.
So the thing I was reading too was saying how, like, you don't, like, that's part of your subconscious. Like, people don't realize, like, they say you use 10% of your brain, but you use 10% of your brain consciously, or whatever the small percentage is. But subconsciously, there's so many other parts of your brain working that we don't account for.
Always. Exactly. So that's part of that, automatic, on autopilot. Okay? So the parasympathetic, when we say the relaxation response, let's say if you're in the wild, an animal is chasing you, as soon as you're safe, your parasympathetic nervous system kick in automatically, because it's like, oh, now I'm safe. I can breathe. I can go to the bathroom. I can pee. I can do things. Okay, that I'm okay. So it's automatically. But in our modern life, when people go through trauma, we go through stressors in life, like everyday stress, that pretty much, okay, kind of like mess up, our system. And, we talk about the amygdala, which is, like, your little panic, button that kind of like, attached to your emotional brain, or a part of the sympathetic nervous system. When something is perceived as being a danger, okay, so we call trigger, okay, because of something that happened to you when you were little. Maybe you fell off, something, and something happened, in the present, that resemble that, or anything, but like, we mentioned earlier, your eyes, your ears, okay, they pick up so many things that, unconsciously, that we don't even know. Sometimes we can be triggered, we don't know why we triggered, but your eyes and ears, like, pick up things, that, really in your tongue, that's always kind of like, alerting your survival brain, okay, your amygdala, that danger. It's danger, because the brain, again, is always working 24/7 to protect you. So those perceived danger, okay, that's where, you said, I want to have control. But if your brain is perceiving danger, and you did not develop, your parasympathetic nervous system, because it's not automatic now. Because in modern life, and that's why, we talk about meditation, we talk about mindfulness, a lot of things, to help you to kind of like come to the present and be in the moment, so you can be more here in your prefrontal cortex, okay, where that's where, you develop, more your executive power, you're more in charge, okay, where you can really kind of like, okay, consciously, okay, be kind of like, oh, it's not a tiger, it was just, whatever, it was a tree or a shadow, that's why you can know that, okay, unless you train your brain to be able to kind of like do that, okay, to automatically be able to activate your relaxation, so you can assess, you can look at your own autopilot. So you have no, really, in a way, you have no control when you are on autopilot. And if you don't know what making you, or why you are on autopilot, you're going to continue being on autopilot, because there's nothing you can do about it. So you can really train your brain to kind of say, oh, it's a stick, it's not a snake.
Yeah. And like you said, in modern society, it's like, obviously it's not a stick or a snake. It's like, it's deeper. It's like, it's more complex. But we take, like how we take triggers, sometimes a trigger is like minor, but it triggers something really major in our subconscious. And then it's up to us to kind of differentiate, like, no, this was minor. It's just triggering something major in me. And that's why I'm having these reactions to something that generally is not like a big deal, you know? What are some practices people can do to check in on their mental health? Like, you know, when people do their like blood sugar, they go to get a physical, or I don't know. There's like different things people do for their physical health to check in to see if they're healthy or not, check their weight or whatever. Like, what are things you can do to check in on your mental health?
I also use a therapist, and I also use coaches, okay, to work with me, because our brain, okay, in our brain we're always right. In our brain, things are, even though we may, kind of like, feel discomfort, but to assess things for ourselves, okay, it's very difficult, okay, to really kind of pass our blind spots and be able to see us. So first thing I would say, is always look for a professional. Look for somebody who can sit down with you and really assess what's going on. Your brain might say, oh, I got it. There's nothing, I got this. It's really check with someone and sit down. And everything, I also tell, people, you need to shop around. I can, sit here and say, I'm the best therapist ever, okay? Because there's only me, okay, and I'm unique, okay? But that doesn't mean I'm the best therapist for everybody, okay? You can shop around, see, who, you can sit down with and really kind of like can connect with, okay, based on your issues, okay? Um, you know, um, who can be the best match for you. I would say, that would be my advice, to kind of like, really look for someone where you can have a good assessment evaluation and really look at what's going on and can really help you to develop the skills that you need to really kind of like more, when we say, take charge of your life, taking charge of your brain in terms of understanding how your brain works and how you can work with your brain. Because there's another thing too where everybody wants to conform, but we're unique. Okay, our DNA says so. So what worked for someone may not work for someone else. So that's why each of my clients, everybody will come, you know, to my office, and I'm talking to, and I work with people through video online, or in person. Everybody is unique, and there's no one size fit all.
Yeah.
So it's really finding that right match for you, and that unique way that you are, and that person can really help you to tap into that.
Yeah.
Okay, and really heal yourself, because I believe that everybody has the healer inside of them. It's just, my work is to assist them in kind of bringing it out.
And as far as like getting someone, I think people get discouraged because maybe they have not so great healthcare, they can't afford healthcare. But there's actually a lot of programs out there if you look for them. Like I know in LA there's a program where you can do it income based, and it's not through insurance. But if you're like, I can only afford $10 a week or $5 a week, like there'll be a student, like someone who's getting their license who can see you. So I know there's probably a lot of other states and cities that have programs like that. So I would say like it's good to look for programs like that, because I think money is not always the issue. Like there's usually something out there to help you. In a lot of states, I think like now there's federal health care, even if it's not the greatest in your state. A lot of this healthcare still covers therapy. Now they cover it. So I think people don't realize that their healthcare probably covers therapy. And it's different for each one, but it's worth like looking into and seeing if your provider provides it, instead of like assuming it's just like not paid for. Thanks for joining me on this segment. Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I want to say, thank you to you. I'm so proud of her, of all the stuff, she's doing out there. And I know she's a blessing, to the world. She really make me very, very proud.
Thanks, Mom.
So, thank you again for the opportunity to talk to your fans.
Yes, and I'll leave all her information below. If you want to get in contact with my mom, this is what she does for her profession. I guess I was lucky enough to have kind of a coach as a mom. So, not everyone has that. So I'll leave all her information below if you want to get in contact with her, if you want to ask more questions. And yeah, I just thought this was such an important topic that we needed to address that. Like, I love that it's becoming more and more of a common subject that people are talking about, but we still have a long way to go as far as educating people about mental health, because I feel like that's where it starts. It's like people don't even understand what that means because the stigma was so strong for so long. They don't understand what it means. They don't understand their brain. There's like so many things we don't understand about this topic yet. So I wanted to just play a little role and like share a little bit about it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with someone that you think needs to hear something like this, which I think is everybody. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.